Katy Perry, amid rumors she and Orlando Bloom are on the rocks.
This song was about a breakup, and these Tim Tams saved me.
That's Katy on stage in Australia as Orlando reveals who he's leaning on half a world away.
Katy Perry's feeling moody, or at least mood. That's the word she used to caption this Instagram dump, her first social post since ET learned she and Orlando Bloom broke up after nearly a decade together.
Katy Perry is boiling over with anger after rumors leaked that not only did she get dumped by Orlando Bloom, but he left her for none other than Sydney Sweeney. To make matters worse, rumors suggest that things between the two might be moving far too fast for Katy's comfort, as they were seen out and about on what many have called a romantic stroll, just mere days after the Orlando and Katy Perry split got announced. You guys better grab your seats because the tea I am about to spill is hot, and it might just start one of this year's messiest celebrity breakups. So buckle up because this story is gonna leave your jaws floored.
Quote, Katy's been upset with where her career is currently. Orlando tried to be there for her, but it got too tough for him.
We're both, I think, cheerleaders for each other, and I think she does push, she definitely pushes me.
Now, if you didn't know, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have officially called it quits, and this breakup has Hollywood buzzing. After nearly a decade together, the pop queen and the Pirates of the Caribbean star are going their separate ways, and this breakup is turning messy quickly. And insiders say the writing's been on the wall for a while. A source close to the couple revealed to Us Weekly that the split was amicable, but don't be fooled, this wasn't a sudden decision. Tensions have reportedly been simmering for months, and according to the insider, this breakup was a long time coming. The two have been living increasingly separate lives, especially since Katy hit the road for her Lifetime's tour earlier this year. Katy is said to be heartbroken, but also strangely relieved. She's upset, sure, the source shared, but she's also glad to avoid going through another divorce. That was the worst time of her life. Now, for anyone who remembers the fallout from her split with Russell Brand, it's easy to see why she's treading carefully this time around. The couple, who share a 4-year-old daughter, Daisy Dove, have reportedly been living apart for months. Katy's been busy on tour and even started renting out her Westcott estate in Montecito, a home she and Orlando once planned to make their family haven. But now, those plans are officially shelved. The insider confirmed that while they had lived primarily in another Montecito property, the emotional shift had already taken place. Katy's reportedly diving into her work, using her tour as both a distraction and a reset. But here is where the breakup drama really begins. You see, just days after news broke that Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom had called it quits, Orlando wasted no time stepping back into the Hollywood social circuit, and the timing has everyone talking. Guys, Orlando jetted off to Italy to attend none other than Jeff Bezos' lavish wedding, and the guest list read like a who's who of celebrity royalty. But all eyes were on one particularly intriguing reunion: Orlando and Kim Kardashian. Newly single Orlando was spotted diving in for multiple air kisses with Kim K and warmly reconnecting with the rest of the Kardashian clan before the ceremony. And let's not forget these two have history. Flashback to last September's Caring Foundation Caring for Women dinner, where Orlando was caught on camera blatantly checking out Kim's infamous backside while standing right next to his then fiancé, Katy Perry. The viral moment had the internet buzzing, though Katy brushed it off with a laugh, saying she approved of the cheeky glance and quipped, "So wait, what's the controversy?" Still, fast forward to now, and that little moment suddenly feels a lot more telling, especially considering that Kim and Katy had recently been hanging out in Paris, bonding during Lauren's bachelorette bash. Whatever camaraderie existed between the two women may now be up for debate, because in the Italian sunshine, Kim and Orlando looked very comfortable as they caught up in full view of guests. But the Kardashian run-in wasn't Orlando's only headline-worthy moment. Guys, it seems Orlando Bloom wasn't wasting no time soaking up his newly single status, and he was doing it in style, with Sydney Sweeney turning heads right by his side. The pair were spotted casually strolling through the enchanting streets of Venice, just days after news broke that Orlando had split from longtime partner Katy Perry, and months after Sydney quietly ended her engagement to Jonathan Davino. If this is heartbreak, Orlando certainly isn't showing it. Orlando looked completely at ease during Jeff Bezos's lavish wedding weekend, flashing megawatt smiles, mingling with the Kardashians, and even squeezing in a boys' day out with none other than Leonardo DiCaprio. But the real showstopper moment, that unexpected cozy-looking walk with Sydney Sweeney. The two actors looked relaxed and in sync as they explored the romantic Venetian streets. Sydney fully embraced a Euro summer aesthetic, wearing a flowing floral dress with a cinched waist and daring neckline. She paired it with red leather mules, oversized black sunglasses, and a sleek purse, turning what could have been a casual outing into a full paparazzi-worthy moment. This sighting has fans buzzing. Sydney's been on a personal high lately, stepping into her single era after calling off her engagement earlier this year. At the time, insiders told people she didn't feel right about it, and in her own words to the Sunday Times, she's been loving the freedom, saying, "I'm learning a lot about myself, spending more time with my friends, and I'm loving it." Meanwhile, Orlando, fresh out of a nearly decade-long relationship, stepped back into the spotlight with the confidence of someone who knows exactly how to work a post-breakup glow-up. With cameras catching every moment of this Venice rendezvous, the internet is already speculating, is this just two single stars crossing paths, or the beginning of Hollywood's next unexpected duo? Now, behind the scenes, it turns out the fairy tale romance between Katy and Orlando had been quietly unraveling for quite some time. While fans were still holding out hope for a happily ever after, those close to the couple say the cracks had been there for years and everyone around them knew it. It's an unspoken thing that they are having issues and have for a while now, a source revealed. And while Orlando tried to keep things private, insiders noticed a change. He'd been seen out and about more frequently without Katy, especially since she kicked off her Lifetime's tour in April. The distance, both physical and emotional, had started to take a toll. Katy had been very busy working, and they were apart often, the source continued. That caused major tension between the couple, and despite being engaged for 6 years, the couple never actually set a wedding date. Orlando was simply over it, the insider said bluntly. No plans, no ceremony, no real timeline, and eventually no relationship. Over the years, Perry and Bloom have been open about the ups and downs in their relationship. In April 2023, Katy even posted on Instagram about how they were continuously putting in the work. But sometimes effort isn't enough when two lives are moving in completely different directions. Orlando shed light on that reality during his April 2024 appearance on Trevor Noah's What Now podcast. He spoke candidly about the challenge of navigating two massive careers, admitting that hers is even it's like a universe sometimes. Despite his poetic attempts to hold her hand and walk her back to the sand pit where they could simply build a sand castle, it seems that moment never came. By June, the whispers had become headlines. Sources confirmed that the two were living separate lives, spending more and more time apart, and ultimately growing distant. Their love story, once filled with grand gestures and red carpet appearances, quietly faded into something far less glamorous and far more real. After 6 years of engagement, one child, and countless public declarations of devotion, the final chapter has been written. Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry officially closed the book on their relationship. However, despite having ended their nearly decade-long romance, when it comes to their daughter Daisy, Katy and Orlando are staying united where it counts. Following their split, the former couple is putting co-parenting front and center, and insiders say they're handling it all with maturity, flexibility, and a shared focus on family. They are still very much in touch and co-parenting Daisy together. A source close to the pair exclusively told Us Weekly. In fact, Orlando even brought their 4-year-old daughter to visit Katy on tour before jetting off to Jeff Bezos's star-studded wedding, a clear sign that despite the end of their engagement, things are far from bitter. According to insiders, the split didn't come as a shock to those close to them. Tensions had reportedly been simmering for months, and and their increasingly separate schedules, especially with Katy on the road for her Lifetimes tour, only highlighted the distance between them. Still, both Katy and Orlando have made one thing crystal clear: Daisy comes first. They aren't making drastic changes for Daisy's sake, the source added. They'll keep their lives in Montecito. They are prioritizing stability and consistency. It's a refreshingly grounded approach, especially in a town where high-profile breakups often spiral into messy drama. Though Katy is understandably upset by the split, insiders say she's also relieved not to be facing another painful divorce, referencing the emotional toll of her previous marriage to Russell Brand. That was the worst time in her life, the source said, noting that while this breakup is difficult, it's been far more amicable. Katy and Orlando first made headlines back in January 2016 after cozying up at Golden Globes after-parties. They hit a brief rough patch in 2017, but reunited in 2018. And Orlando popped the question with a romantic Valentine's Day proposal in 2019. Just a year later, the couple announced they were expecting, and in August 2020, they welcomed Daisy Dove Bloom into the world. Now, as they navigate life post-split, both Katy and Orlando seem determined to keep things civil and focused on what matters most: their daughter. The romance may be over, but the partnership, at least when it comes to parenting, is far from finished. Anyways, what do you think about this drama? Let me know your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to check out our other stories for even more celeb tea. Till next time, bye.